Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Love that you guys are using texting. So some of you guys will already be into what I'm going to talk about today. It's really fantastic to be here. My name's Miriam. I'm the founder of Hebor and Quoka, anonymous text messaging for founder and entrepreneur mental health, is the first digital product that I'm bringing to market. Here's why. 1/3 of founders are clinically depressed, and we also suffer from a higher rate of suicide than other groups. I believe that entrepreneurs are some of the brightest minds that our world has, and we need to be in the best mental shape possible in order to achieve our full potential. I used to give this presentation using the example of Robert. But after working on this product, going to market, I realized how much I actually also just need this for myself. For the last 6 years, I have, since I left my 9 to 5, been working on making my dreams a reality. I'm motivated, creative, well-connected, and I'm doing my best to do it all. But I'm human, and that comes with real human challenges and needs. And I'm not alone. Founders are under an extreme amount of pressure, regardless of age, sex, if they're solo, they're leading a team, they're doing this for the first time, they're years into the journey. We all have these pressures. We're leaders in our community and in our organization, and we're living pretty public lives. We always have this pressure to be active on multiple channels and to appear to look like we always know what we're doing, when I can assure you we don't. Take myself, for example. I'm well connected. I have a community that supports me. I have advisors and mentors that I can talk to, but these do require a big commitment of time and mental energy. I want to learn new things, and I know that this is critical to my success as well. I'm also one of the lucky ones. I have practices in my toolkit that support my mental health. And like other leaders, I just want to be happy, healthy, and well. If I know that if I'm happy, healthy, and well, if I'm not, it's not good for me, and it's not good for others around me, which ends up causing further anxiety because I care about other people, right? So Quoka is what I'm starting to call really a brave space for founders that desire to achieve a state of self-actualization. Through Quoka, entrepreneurs can express themselves, help others, and get support from a community that understands them, resulting in them feeling understood, listened to, and productive. It doesn't require a huge time or mental commitment. It's very easy to use. Some of our core features include the community, which is, comprised of like-minded people. All interactions are anonymous, so you never risk feeling judged or stupid when you ask a question or share something. All communication is done through text, so it's really easy. You don't risk getting sucked into an endless stream of other social platforms out there. And of course, lastly, learning. We have a website of resources that's curated by the community, and we also teach different techniques of dealing with challenges that people may not have been exposed to. So it's really easy to get started, but I do want to stress that Quoka is not therapy. It is not an app like Calm. All conversations take place via text message, creating a custom thread for each user. Once the user enters a code, they are basically in the sign-up process. They choose an anonymous handle and then set some basic preferences, which puts them into different groups. Several of our members are in the at-risk group, and I do expect that number, it is growing as we're continuing on. We're seeing more people joining that would be categorized as at risk. Once a member does join the club, they're able to go ahead and send messages to Quoka. Quoka looks at the message and makes sure that it gets routed appropriately and sent out according to the member's preferences. So during that second step of Quoka looking and analyzing the message. If it's spam, it's flagged. If it's concerning, it's routed specifically for that. And then it's determined, okay, is this a good message for everyone in the club or just for some people? And then it goes out. Once the message goes out, all of the replies to it come straight to you. Now, when you get a message, you can choose to reply as little or as much as you want. No replies ever required. So I like to say that, Quoka, you can ghost Quoka, but Quoka is never going to ghost you. I really believe that now is the time for Quoka. Founders were struggling before the pandemic, and the need for this is only going to grow. I ran several beta test groups, and based on the feedback, I made my current MVP available to the public. I want to also say that, I'm an artist, and that's how I identify. I'm also an entrepreneur, but it really does warm my heart to see the impact that Quoka makes in people's lives. As a millennial who's always had technology in my life, I firmly believe that startup apps that are available today are not always built to support our humanity. And things have really gotten a little bit out of control. I'm committed to solving this problem and building from a people first perspective. And furthermore, as a serial entrepreneur and community builder, I'm the perfect person to bring Quoka to market. My marketing strategy so far has been conducting extensive user research, which I am going to turn into a podcast. I completed a boot camp on go-to-market, and then I started implementing that. I'm leveraging my existing communities to add new users and get feedback. Also, I'm building in public, which has been really wild, to say the least. I'm focusing on expanding my user base through a B2B pilot program model. This would be for incubators, leaders of entrepreneurship ecosystems, accelerators, even venture capital groups, those that support entrepreneurs. My goals are to determine my customer acquisition and burn rate, complete that user research, deploy that B2B pilot program, and I've also started to explore synergies with investors for the future. One of my most recent learnings when I struggled to convert free users into paying members. It felt very out of alignment to remove them from the platform when they had option and asking for help. And I also lost all of the data when I unsubscribed them. So after removing about 10 users, I decided that since I'm learning a lot from having them on the platform and I would want to explore the B2B model, I said, let me just scratch that. Right now, it's very important for me to just have people using Quoka so that I can learn from their experience. So anyone that is entrepreneur can text and join and start using it today. I'm really grateful for you guys to welcome me into your 1 Million Cups chapter. These are the various ways that you can support me as I'm on my journey, and I look forward to just taking your questions.
Well, thanks, Miriam. That was a great presentation. I'll start things off with a question. I'm curious, how many users do you have currently, and have you seen a good amount of growth, like on pace with your goals so far?
I would say that I'm behind on my goal. I wanted to get to 100 users by the end of the year, and I'm about halfway there. I'm at 47 right now. It's really hard to get your first 100 users. People talk about that all the time. And then also during the middle of my go-to-market, I went through a very personal challenge in my life that was not related to my work at all. And it completely, these things happen and they throw you off track. And I really doubted myself for a while, whether I had the ability to continue to work on this and focus on my own personal just energy level. I'm happy to say that after 4 months now of really hard weeks after weeks after weeks and looking into this solution and starting therapy and all of this crazy stuff, not even related to work at all, I'm back feeling very refreshed and energized. I'm so glad I didn't give up on Quoka, because believe me, I thought about it several times as just saying listen, everyone has a startup that fails, just take the loss and move on. But with time, I've come around to another like able to be doing another sprint. So I'm back at it and hoping to hit that 100 shortly.
Thank you. It seems like you're, like you said earlier, kind of a own testimonial for the need of something like this. So thank you. Any other questions from the group?
Is it on?
Yeah.
Hi. Can you can you share your business model?
Sure. The business model I'm exploring right now is a B2B. So Quoka would be made available to accelerators, incubators, venture capitalists, educational institutions, ecosystem leaders, those that touch a multitude of entrepreneurs at one time. And they would be able to offer it to their groups to use. Right now, I'm exploring doing user research interviews, learning about what KPIs do these groups use, do these businesses use? How can I measure impact that Quoka makes? What exactly do they care about? Do they even care about entrepreneur mental health? Do they feel like that's going to move the needle? And so once I kind of have a little bit more understanding and I find a program that I feel like I will have a space to really be transparent, like this is a learning experience. I don't want to go into somewhere and be like, oh yeah, Quoka's ready to go. Let's deploy this. No, I need an incubator or a group that's going to say, we're going to work with you to allow you to test this as a B2B model, and then come out with some numbers and say, we did this pilot. It moved the KPIs by this much, it increased entrepreneur mental health by this much, and put together pricing packages for others and go out and sell this thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions? Have you considered doing like an accelerator program yourself, or do you feel like you're far enough along that like you don't need something like that to help kind of move the idea forward?
Oh, thank you. Oh yeah, definitely. I've applied to multiple accelerators. It was a big win for me last year when I got an interview with one. That was the farthest
Awesome.
I've made it so far. And I will continue to apply to ones that I feel like are in alignment. And, one day I'm sure I'll make it into one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Do
did.
you
do
like
a
have
boot
your,
camp.
oh, nice.
Yeah,
I just
the
want to
boot
say, I
camp was
feel like your
great.
presentation was so good and like you have your stuff really together. So I think you're really putting yourself in a good position for something like that. So yeah, your presentation was fabulous.
Thank you. I noticed some of the images didn't pull up. I don't know why that happened, but I really appreciate it. I've been giving this presentation now and tweaking it at a lot of 1 Million Cups chapters. And I can just say that it helps so much to be able to present to people and tell the story and walk through it. It just helps me in my own mind and answering questions. The work that the 1 Million Cups chapters and people coming to these meetings, it really makes a huge difference in entrepreneurs' lives who are just kind of going along and figuring it out as they go. So it's been great for me.
Nice. I have another question, but I think Jay might have one.
Yes. So yeah, getting to 100 users, that first 100 users is always tough. What sort of strategies are you using to get the word out? And like, what have you tried? What are you thinking about trying? And what hasn't worked for you?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I'm not shy to admit that I think the reason I haven't hit my 100 goals is because I just didn't have the energy because of my personal experience that affected my life. And I'm a solo founder on this project. And, once I stopped, the way that I got the first users was talking about it, sharing on social media. And it was just like, sign up, every day getting signups from just posting about it. Of course, the first, who knows how many were probably just my friends being like, let me just sign up for, Miriam's doing another little thing, let's support. but slowly just people would join. And then within Quoka, sending out messages saying like, hey, do you know a founder that can join us? Like invite people. And that definitely helped too. So now that I'm feeling a little bit better energetically, I have been kind of not present on social media for a while on my, channels, and I'm on everything. I'm on like Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube. I'm everywhere, Facebook, whatever. I've got multiple Slacks, Discords, Telegram, everything. So it's just about me stepping back out there. One of the things that happens with, I think, my generation is like, when you're not on social media for whatever reason, you just don't have the time, or you don't feel like you look good because you've been in a depressive state. And so you're like, I don't want to go live, and even a filter can't fix this, right? So then when you want to come back, you have this pressure of like, people notice that I've been gone, which is not really the case. Like no one knows. Like a few people probably missed you. But the reality is that most people are so overwhelmed with content intake every day that you just kind of hop back in there and things can just go along as normal. So I'm kind of slowly dipping back in, like going live again on Instagram and starting to post again. One of the things that is important to me is just sustainability, making sure that I can keep things going. So I also lost my virtual assistant in December. That was a lot. That was a huge loss for me. So I had to put up the new job posting. Like takes an incredible amount of hours to hire someone when you are working by yourself, like literally 3 weeks of an interview process, like, and that's after the job posting comes up and you allow the people to apply. Then you contact all of them. From there, you schedule the interviews. And then I do a task-based interview, second round. And this week now I'm meeting with the candidates that have made it to the third round to have those final conversations. By 4 weeks later, I'm finally hiring someone and onboarding. So I'd like to get that done and get them trained on other aspects of my other businesses that are really important, to just kind of not let those things slide, because I'm also an entrepreneur for other brands that are doing their thing. But I still need people like working on that if I'm going to work on Quoka by myself, right? So do that, then I can get back into getting people on Quoka. So I like to be very realistic, and I put enough pressure on myself as is to perform and learn about the world of venture capital and all of that. So it's, my own, I think, actions and energy that I haven't hit 100, but I'm really confident that as soon as I get back into it, we'll just keep rolling and we'll get there.
Thank you very much. I know, sorry, Steve has a question.
Oh, go for it.
Hi, me again. You had mentioned that you'll be going to entrepreneurial groups and accelerators and such. Is there any thought on addressing or allowing access to the individual entrepreneur? Because that would seem to me that would greatly increase your market.
Right now, yes, it's totally available to individual entrepreneurs. And that was how I started off, right? So Quoka, originally we launched all the beta tests were just individual entrepreneurs. Then the MVP that I made public was just entrepreneurs sign up, and currently that's how it is. But monetizing that becomes a challenge, which, okay, I did have a free trial followed by a $7 a month fee at the end of the trial. And it did convert at very high rates, actually. Like, it was crazy. It was like 20 something percent. But out of that, I had people that did not convert, a lot of people that did not convert. And it was really awful to be like, okay, you didn't convert. Well, I'm going to have to remove you from Quoka now. I'm a purpose-driven founder. Okay. I will be a certified B Corporation one day. I will balance people, planet, and profit. and to turn people away that have opted in for mental health advice felt very irresponsible of me. It's scary when they don't reply for weeks on end if they've been categorized at risk. You don't know what's happened to them. So the model of going individual and trying to tap individual people is not where I feel like I'm going to make the most impact. And I think it's also really important for me to leverage this opportunity to speak with leaders in the ecosystem about this topic, because it's not just going to be me going out and presenting Quoka that's going to solve this problem. It's going to take everybody waking up and seeing that this is a challenge and understanding that entrepreneurs create almost everything that we interact with as people. When we leave our house, when we go on our phone, there are people that are creating these technologies, these stores, these experiences, and a lot of them are not mentally well or mentally at their best. And when we're not mentally at our best, we're not doing our best work. And so I really think that there's a huge opportunity here for us to make a difference in everyone's lives, even those that are not entrepreneurs. I originally launched this idea with wanting to help veterans, single parents, doctors. What about, teachers, first responders? And this was before pandemic. Specific groups I feel like that touch multiple lives or are in high energy environments where they're like taking in negativity constantly and having to like push it away and like dealing with their own stuff at the same time. If they're mentally well, it vibrates out into our community. And I believe that. I went through the boot camp and started to finally understand that my idea, I really need to bring it down a niche, because and it doesn't mean I'm never going to get to those other groups or that they don't deserve my solution too, because I really feel like mental health support should be for everyone, but I don't have the scalability or the resources to just launch for everybody. So I have to start small. And so when I started to put together the customer persona, I knew the entrepreneur journey. I don't know what it's like to be a veteran. I've literally never been to war. I've never thought about killing someone. Like, that is challenges that I could not even imagine that they face, but I want to help them too eventually. So going the route of working with groups and leaders that are already touching them, like, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's tons of entrepreneurship ecosystems out there, and I know some of them care about mental health. And the ones that don't, let's sit down and have a conversation so that they can't just pretend like it's not happening anymore. I hope that made sense.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is just an idea, but I wonder if it would be helpful to have like a little video to help kind of explain like what kind of conversations are had, or just like to see the technology platform in use. Like you describing it is good, but I just try and like visualize like what kind of user is using it, what kind of conversations are being had, like that kind of thing. I don't know if you've thought about that, but I just like am a visual person,
Yeah, I have several videos that have been made, some of them myself, which are highly embarrassing, but I'm happy to share them, or they're also on YouTube. Yeah.
I will check them out.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for your presentation today. I apologize for being late. I think this is a really interesting product, and I'm super excited to see where you go with it. I am, at first glance, or at first mention of all of your social media that you're involved with, I feel like scaling that back and finding what is, and we've had this conversation with many entrepreneurs, and really finding the areas on where you're going to be able to best connect with your audience, and really just focusing on 1 to 3 different platforms, and being able to connect with those. It sounds like you've got a really great product, and it would be super helpful. I just did a quick Google search, and it was super difficult for me to find you without putting the Quoka Connect all together, which So there's that. So finding someone that could maybe assist you with the SEO so that people are looking this up. And I also misspelled Quoka, so that's my own issue because I'm a terrible speller, but there's that. But I think just if you had an opportunity to focus on, and when you talk about not being camera ready, not even a filter can fix it, I think lean into that authenticity and show people who you are and that it's not easy and we don't always look pretty. And but this is what today looks like. And I think that that will be able to connect you to those individuals even more. I know that that resonates with someone like me on where if someone's really their authentic self, it just makes me kind of engage and want to be like, oh, tell me more because you're just like me, right? So that's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents. Take it or leave it.
Thank
But
you,
great
Erin.
job.
Thank you. That type of feedback is so important to me. Just this honest, like rawness of like, look, girl, XYZ, you need to focus in. And I need to hear it multiple times. So I really appreciate people who come with things like that. Because when I tell you, I had to hear niche down 20 times before I niched down. Like, I'm so driven. I'm like, no, Quoka is for everyone. And I don't know what it changed with the way that the person told me about like why I needed to niche down, but I finally got it. So I'm hearing you, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, maybe, because I've heard that before, like, okay, so maybe Twitter will definitely be one of them. Cannot give up Twitter. I love it so much. And getting someone on SEO for sure, that would be very important, someone to do that. That's more of just a cost thing than anything right now. Yeah, the sharing authentically, that's going to take me some time for that because it scares me so much I do feel like I'm authentic, but because I could have such a bad day one day and then such a good day another day, I feel like that is just not good because I don't know, like if people just might think I'm like flip-flopping all over the place. So, but we'll see. I don't know. I think and it's hard to do it. The best way to do it might be to just set up like a live cam that streams live all the time. People can just drop in and, I don't have to worry about it because it's all that prep work of like going live and thinking about it versus just like it being happening. And so we'll see.
Yes. Well, and when you are, and I get the whole niche part of it and wanting to focus in on entrepreneurs, and you could have like a caveat, but if you are not an entrepreneur and you feel like this would benefit you, join us and see where that goes. And then you might have this organic growth and it'll push you in the direction you didn't even see coming. Right. So, there's a lot of opportunity and like I said, it's a great product. I think it's super interesting. And you've got it. So it just lean into it. Don't stress so much. It's easier said than done. Don't worry. I say that with ease, but I don't live it either. So
thank you. Yeah. What kind of work are you in?
I work in economic and community development. I work with Liz. And so I'm part of one of the 1 Million Cup organizing team.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the work that you do and that feedback, and everybody too. Thank you for the questions from the coffee group, and so nice to see you guys in that shop, just hanging out, enjoying some cafecito. And yeah, would love to connect further with all of you.
Any other questions from the group? If not, I'll ask our final question. How can we as a community support you?
Yeah, thank you so much. Definitely, I'm looking for opportunities to speak about the topic of mental health, or like Erin was saying, share authentically. Sometimes it's easier for me to answer questions versus just talk freely, even if it's about an experience. I'm also looking for an advisor that is in the cognitive behavioral therapy space or psychology, or like classically trained in mental health and like those types of things, because this is a very serious topic and I don't have education in those areas. I'm learning what I can, but it'd be great to have an advisor that can really be that person and help with that. Following my story is always great, engaging on social with me, and connect me with any programs that you feel like might be a good fit for a pilot program.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, I know that was supposed to be our final question, but I have one more. Do you have an
Go for it.
advisory board or committee where you've got your different areas of like marketing, business growth, all of that? Do you have kind of an advisory committee for this?
No, I don't, and I don't even know like how to form that. Like,
Okay. So that's it, because I think that you could really benefit from something like that, and having a mental health professional and someone like that. So just finding people that are going to benefit the growth of and believe in your product will benefit the growth of your product. I think that that would be kind of something I think that would be beneficial to you if that is something you focused on as you get going, and just kind of forming those people that can give you business sense, medical sense, and all of that. So anyway, that's my final question.
Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, so do I give them equity on that front? Where's the paperwork for that? Like all of that kind of stuff. I really am kind of a little unsure on how to bring those people together.
So to the gentlemen sitting around the coffee table, Jay, Steve, Paul, do you guys have any input onto the best way to form an advisory or a board of some sort that would be beneficial for her growth, and how to get started?
Yeah, I've done it a couple different times, and it's basically what I've done is I've looked at the needs, whether it's financial or business, go to market, and like through Paul and the SBDC, you just meet people that people want to help. Entrepreneurs especially want to help other entrepreneurs, and if there's not a big requirement of time on their part, and remember there's doers and thinkers, and the advisory board is usually more the thinker part of it, to bounce ideas off of, but it doesn't take responsibility or work off you. It just gives you something to bounce on. So I would just find out which are your main needs, and then look at trying to meet people in those circles, and it just kind of comes naturally.
Thank you.
What that's worth.
All any info or advice or no?
Yeah, I work with a lot of small companies, and a lot of them have advisory board members, and yeah, for the most part, they just volunteer. You buy them a cup of coffee and meet them once a month, and bounce ideas off of them, and it can be very helpful. Network you into other opportunities.
All right. A little coffee can go a long way then, huh?
Definitely.
Or beer.
Yeah, that's another one of my favorites. But, people are so busy. If it's a low stress, just sit down and enjoy some coffee together, talk about your needs, and the conversation kind of happens naturally.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. I have put together what I'm calling the mental health mafia, which is inspired by the PayPal mafia. Because I heard somewhere, and I don't even know if this is true, but apparently a lot of them were working on similar financial products at the time, and then came together and formed PayPal. So mental health mafia, I can't tell you how many times people have literally tried to solve this problem, or put out some sort of texting solution, or built an app around mental health. There are so many that actually exist that I am like, let's just come together. We meet once a quarter, and it's an optional call. Literally the point is to just introduce yourself on the call, and then naturally, potentially connections are made that way. Because I think if we can collaborate and work together versus being like frightened of each other and thinking we're going to come for each other, then we can go a lot farther faster. So I have formed the mental health mafia. If anybody's watching this and feels like they would benefit from being part of Mental Health Mafia, if you're working on a mental health product of some sort or a leader in that space, please just reach out to me and love to have you join our quarterly calls. The next one is going to be next Thursday. So we meet at the intervals right before our next quarter, is jumping off. So you can get prepped for the upcoming. Yeah.
I was going to mention too, one thing that may help you too is I work with a company called Score. It's a nationwide company that does business coaching, and there's no cost. And there'll be volunteers in your area. You can look that up and they can help you through a lot of things as well.
Thank you. Yes, I love Score, fantastic organization nationwide, amazing work that they do. I love to see that 1 Million Cups chapters and have Score people kind of working together. It really helps make an impact in the ecosystem.
Any other questions? If not, thank you so much for sharing your story today. It was really fun to hear about it, and we look forward to seeing what happens with your company in the future.